Good evening, everyone. Let's get right to breaking news in downtown Portland, where police are investigating a shooting next to Pioneer Place, not far from Pioneer Courthouse Square. We understand shots were fired around 9:30 this evening. Southwest Morrison remains closed between 5th and 6th. You can see the crime tape strung across the sidewalk there, evidence markers there on the ground. We don't know much more than that as far as victims, if anybody was injured or killed. No word on any suspects later either, or if police are looking for a shooter or shooters. We'll be sure to keep you posted on this as we learn more. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. Speaking of Portland, we continue tonight with the latest attempt to revive downtown and a new task force chaired by the governor calling for collaboration and change. Though, as Blair Best found out, some Portlanders are looking for much more than meetings and recommendations. They want action and results.
In pockets of downtown Portland, the fight to revive the city is on full display.
I think the downtown feels a lot better. Definitely there are more people down here.
Many of them tourists, like Jenny Kaplan visiting from New York.
I love it. I love it. It's like laid back city.
But as Brianna Miller puts it, she works and lives downtown. It all depends on where you look.
I think it's got a lot of issues to deal with still.
And the state is doing just that.
We've just had our first meeting of the Portland Central City Task Force.
Governor Tina Kotek launched the Portland Central City Task Force 2 weeks ago to create a plan on how to better the city when it comes to issues like homelessness, drug use, and crime. It's made up of about 40 people, including downtown business owners and city leaders. They met for the first time on Tuesday.
There's a sense of urgency in this group. We are here to make progress, build on good things that are happening, and be very clear that at this moment, we can't just talk about things, we have to do things.
As for what those things are, Governor Kotek was slow to share.
I would just say stay tuned, just the first meeting, but we're hoping to have updates as we go along.
Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler is also on the task force.
Mayor Wheeler did make opening comments.
Followed by a list of requests, including $21 million to fund his mass-sanctioned homeless camps, along with more money for homeless camp sweeps and a sobering center.
I am aware of his set of recommendations. One of the things that we need to remember is no one government, whether it's the city of Portland, Multnomah County, or the state, or even a governor or a mayor, is going to solve all the challenges facing downtown Portland.
There is nobody in this room that wants to sit in another meeting to think about something we may do in 2025.
Lisa Schroeder runs Mother's Bistro downtown and is on the task force with a focus on community safety.
For me, it's the drugs. I believe that fentanyl and methamphetamine is killing downtown Portland, so my quest is to deal with that and how it's affecting the city.
Blair Best, KGW News.
Stay tuned with that one, right? To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a homeless camp along I-405 has now been cleared. We told you Monday how the camp on Southwest 13th and Main attracts younger campers because the nonprofit Outside Inn, which works with them, is right across the street. Some campers told us they are on long waiting lists for housing. They do not want to go into shelters, and they plan to return. The homeless advocates say that a handful of those young people have moved into the city's first large-scale sanctioned homeless camp. That's in southeast Portland. Evacuation levels have been reduced after a fast-moving grass fire broke out last night a few miles northwest of Vernonia. The fire chief there says they typically only have one firefighter working after 6 in the evening. However, they happened to have a training session last night, so 8 people were at the station. They were able to save homes as the fire burned a steep hillside along Kesey Road. There were some level 3 go now evacuations but those have all been dropped to level 1. And strike averted after UPS workers who are members of the Teamsters Union approved a new contract with pay increases and some changes around safety concerns. The union says 86% of workers voted for the 5-year contract. It includes a $2.75 hourly pay increase this year guaranteed for current full and part-time union workers, and a plan to purchase only air-conditioned delivery vehicles starting next year. New at 11, a sudden spike in people showing up with tick and mosquito bites in urgent care this summer has doctors working to calm folks down. Alma McCarty talked to an expert about strategies to steer clear of bloodsuckers and why, even if you're bitten, you likely don't need to worry.
an increase in insects.
Lots of people coming with mosquito, tick, sometimes bee problems.
It's leaving more Portlanders puzzled whether to worry about their bug bites.
And what scares everyone the most or grosses them out the most is, if a tick bites me, how likely am I to catch Lyme disease or some other problem?
Dr. Ann Toledo, a family medicine doctor and chief of urgent care for Kaiser Permanente, says despite an uptick in these concerns this summer, the risk right now remains low.
There's different types. The type that carries Lyme disease does live in Oregon. That's a western blackleg tick. The reassuring thing is that states do monitor how many of the ticks have Lyme disease. So in Oregon, around 6% do, a tiny amount.
That's compared with states on the East Coast, where Dr. Toledo says every other tick could carry the disease. Experts say a good rule of thumb, if you haven't been looking out for it before, after a hike or some kind of activity in a heavily wooded area, do a tick check immediately when you get home, or ideally within a 12-hour period.
The longer a tick is attached, they secrete something called cementum to stick into the skin more. So it's harder to remove them. So all the better to catch it as fast as you can so you can pull it out easily.
And if you do find one, Dr. Toledo tells me, still not the time to panic.
If the tick was on your body less than 36 hours, it is extraordinarily unlikely that it even had a chance to transmit a disease.
In rare cases, she says it can take within 3 to 30 days' time for more severe symptoms to develop. Overall reassuring in the short term, but long term, climate change will play a role.
I do think over years to decades, we're going to see problems that Oregon's not used to from bugs that range into our state that we didn't have to deal with. And this is an early sign of that, probably.
In Portland, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Well, it turns out it was a great day to hit a trail with air quality vastly improved compared to the weekend. That is when smoke out of Canada and eastern Washington really blocked out the sun and for some made outdoor activity really tough for about 48 hours. Today, we checked in with the Lane Regional Air Protection Agency, which reminded us of small things we can all do to protect ourselves if and when that smoke returns.
Is doing things like closing doors and windows. If you have an air purifier, getting that out and turning that on. A good place to put those purifiers is the room you will be spending most of the time in, which
Well, parts of central Oregon continue to struggle with thick smoke, not along the waterfront here, though. The Bedrock and Lookout fires, they are burning east of Eugene in the Willamette National Forest, causing problems there. Meanwhile, firefighters in eastern Washington are making progress on the Gray Fire that is burning southwest of Spokane. Containment now up to 25%, and evacuation orders are being lifted. Sebastian Robertson takes us to one neighborhood hit hard by the flames.
The Medical Lake community in Spokane devastated by the Gray Fire. Take a look at how hot and how fast this fire burned. Today's the first day, really, that residents are able to get an up-close look at the damage.
Cool, wet rain is a blessing for crews on the front lines of the Gray Fire.
Yeah, it's a little rough to look at right now, but it can be put back.
For homeowner Del Ryber, it's a little too late.
It's bittersweet because, man, we could have used this a few days ago, you know.
There's not much left of his Medical Lake home, a community he's lived in since 1997. The family is down, but their attitude could not be better.
Things happen in life, and you just have to deal with them. You got to take the good with the bad. This is the bad, but I've had a lot of good things happen too. One of our neighbors going by.
Good has been hard to come by since the Gray Fire sparked Friday, a fire that spread so quickly it jumped the interstate. In that time, it's devoured more than 10,000 acres, believed to have destroyed 185 homes, most of those in Medical Lake.
Well, it's just tragic. It's just like how much of it could have been possibly preventable.
Damage that at times seems random, perhaps even cruel.
It was a hot fire.
Some homes leveled, others untouched. The Rybers coming to terms with the total loss.
It was a nice home, but it can be rebuilt. A lot of things can be replaced. The tough thing is the memories.
Memories turn to ash, and today they're soaked by rain. People that are hopeful the fires will subdue so that rebuilding can begin. The Rybers say they're not going anywhere.
Sebastian Robertson reporting there. Last check, 185 homes and structures were destroyed. Officials say that number is expected to rise as crews continue to assess the damage.